By the virtue of the powers vested in me, this afternoon as the Acting Vice-Chancellor, I constitute this gathering a congregation of the University of South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please join us in a silent prayer or form of meditation as we throw our eyes on whatever deity that you subscribe to, your sage, your God, as we give thanks for the achievements being celebrated on this occasion this afternoon. May we go on a silent prayer. You may be seated. the Chancellor in his absentia, His Excellency Dr. Thabo Mbeki, members of Council and their partners, many of whom are watching online right now, the Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of South Africa in absentia, Professor Puleng Linkabula, graduates, family members, parents, sisters, brothers, grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, friends, loved ones, and beloved in-laws. Management of UNISA at various levels, the academic procession, guardians, supporters, funders, and our proud UNISA alumni. And the heart of today's celebration, you, our graduating class of 2025. Molweni, Dumelang. Good afternoon, Jumbo. All protocol is observed. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, and most importantly again, our proud graduates and their loved ones, it is my singular honor and privilege to welcome you to this momentous graduation ceremony of the University of South Africa. My name is Professor Tenjiwe Meyiwa. I'm the Vice Principal responsible for research, postgraduate studies, innovation, and commercialization. I stand before you today humbly and proudly as the acting Vice-Chancellor. She sends her apologies. She's on business out of the country. I'm also proud to be serving as the acting Chancellor, His Excellency Dr. Thabo Mbeki, who conveys his regret for not being present, but joins us in spirit as we celebrate you today. The VC says to me, warm wishes to you all, heartfelt congratulations. I greet and acknowledge you all, as we say in my language, isiZulu, siyanibona, sanibonani. I want to be acknowledging my special guest as well as the university's special guest that we have this afternoon. You probably will not remember all of these guests, but because we're recording on the World Wide Web and we shall have this record into the future, we want to put this on record. His Excellency Momi, Ambassador of Morocco, His Excellency Lindiwe Kunene, High Commissioner, Kingdom of Eswatini, His Excellency Ambassador Professor Mpiane, President of Sovereign Congress of African Leaders, Ms. Lebulie Mufokane, Head of Department, Northwest Province, under the MEC of Tourism and Economic Development, Mr. Mondli Mkize, CEO of SAFMEX, Dr. Cuthbert Ncube, President of African Tourism Board, Ambassador of Ethiopia, Dr. Ganga, that is Ambassador of Ethiopia in South Africa, Mrs. Dolly Mafa, Director, Sustainable Finance and U20 Coordinator and U20, City of Tshwane under the G20, Mr. Madiba Madibana, CEO of Madibana, South African Global Logistics Company, Mrs. Tembisile Mayayisi, Manager Director, Mud Africa and Fishermen Project, Mr. Johan van der Jever, CEO of Sky Group South Africa, Supra Mohammed, Ambassador, Khoisan, Kingdom of National Khoisan Affairs. And I also want to acknowledge one of our graduates, who is actually a president of Central Ethiopia, who's responsible for all the provinces in Ethiopia. We will be acknowledging him as we give him his doctoral degree this afternoon. I am doing this work accompanied by a number of colleagues. As I said, you probably will not remember them, but this is a record for the future. The office bearers, that is. I want to acknowledge from the executive management, the registrar himself is in the house this afternoon, Professor Siputa. I acknowledge Professor Dr. Likubu, who's the acting deputy registrar. I acknowledge Director Mr. Achbrecht, who will also be hooding this afternoon. From the colleges, from the College of Graduate Studies, we have Professor Murray, who's the Director, School of Transdisciplinary Research Institutes. College of Law, we have Dr. Mahlobongwane, College representative, and other representative from the college. College of Human Sciences, we have Professor Mukudwane. And College of Human Sciences, we have Dr. Shandu. The College of Economic and Management Sciences, we have Professor Moraka, Director, School of Management Sciences, as well as Professor Boya. From the College of Science, Engineering and Technology, we have Professor Tagwi, as well as Professor Mahato. From the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, we have Dr. Masebe. From the College of Education, we have Professor Mawela, Professor Mudau, Professor Daula. From the Graduate School of Business Leadership, we have Professor Msweli, who is the CEO of the Graduate School of Business Leadership. And from the College of Accounting Sciences, we have Professor Goberskar, as well as Mr. Msiza, Mr. Hlongwane, and Dr. Hlongwane. I have to, as per the culture and tradition of UNISA, have to also acknowledge our supervisors. We have red-gowned doctorates-to-be students, but now doctors, whom we shall be confirming later. They happen to belong to me. These are Bafo Asomwa, Geta Wale Baizi, Blessed Magama, Lindani Nduweni, Nancy Dlamini, Frank Sem, Junita Suju, Binuevu Bengeto Bulego, and Dr Endeshaw Toseo. We have their supervisors alongside them, but I want to single out one supervisor who's also a council member, Professor Mpho Ngwepe. We'll be acknowledging all of them as they come on stage in various forms. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and my honored guests, and most importantly again, our graduates, you look good. I saw you, Ella, with heels. I hope you'll be able to walk the red carpet with those heels. Be careful. But we happy so seriously, and the lashes look on point. They're quite visible. It's my singular honor and privilege to welcome you to this momentous graduation ceremony of the University of South Africa. We gathered here today not only to mark the culmination of your academic journey, but to honor your perseverance, to honor your tenacity, to honor your dreams. A special word of gratitude goes to your families. We will acknowledge them towards the end when you have your certificates in hand, later properly. Thank you for walking this graduation journey up to today with our graduates. Your support is woven into the degrees we confer to them and diplomas we confer to them this afternoon. This month of May is a very important month, a very deeply symbolic month, the Africa Month. And today in particular, the 30th of May, actually you're graduating on a very important day. Do you know what happened on this day on the African continent? In 2025, the African Dialogue Series concluded with a high-level policy dialogue on justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. This was held at the United Nations headquarters on the 30th of May 2025, and later headquarters of African Union in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Now, I know probably you may not recall this, but it's very significant because just last week, the culmination of giving back to Africa what belongs to Africa was celebrated with Mauritius being given back by colonial UK 60 islands that had been colonized. So the month of May is indeed symbolic. You graduate in a very important month. You're very lucky. Indeed, as Chancellor Thabo Mbeki reminds us, we should never become despondent, as I open quotes, because the weather's bad, nor should we turn triumphalist because the sun shines, a close quote. Let us remain grounded, humble, and resolute, as you have done throughout your studies. This afternoon, we will be conferring, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, degrees on several graduates forming part of a larger cohort of more than 50,000 students that will graduate in 2025 across our university in various regions, as well as including Ethiopia. This movement is honestly a crowning glory for UNISA, now 150 years plus 2 strong. It is a true mega university. The world is our campus, as we say. We have close to 500,000 students throughout the regions, learning centers that stretch within the African borders and beyond. Now let's turn to this ceremony. It is a very short ceremony that's made up of 6 elements. We request you to stay for the entire ceremony and honor the very first graduate to the very last one. We plead you to stay the course. You won't be on YouTube having been seen tiptoeing out of this building. Eh? Your great-grandchildren will, what happened on that day? The ceremony has 6 parts. It's this formal welcome that I'm doing now. And then we'll have the Chancellor's address. The Chancellor has sent Dr. Mtsweni of the College of Science, Engineering and Technology to present his speech. The third part will be when we present and hood our graduates, although they're already hooded, but we hood them formally at the extreme end of the stage by the registrar and his team. We'll then have closing remarks. The national anthem is the 5th session, and the last session will be recessional when we get the procession to leave the hall. We will request that the supervisors and the doctoral degreed about to be doctors stay behind because we want to capture much more moments with you. To our graduates, you've made difficult yet powerful choices to learn at UNISA. Being a UNISA student is not easy. As author Elizabeth Gilbert wisely said once, when you are at the edge of change, you must choose to evolve or remain, a close quote. You chose to evolve. You chose to evolve, and your choice was backed by action, your agency. It is what brings you here this afternoon. And as I end, I want to echo powerful words by Kwame Nkrumah. He needs no introduction. If you don't know who he is, it's a bit embarrassing, but check your Google. One of Africa's greatest thinkers, who says, I open quote, action without thoughts is empty, thought without action is blind. You exemplify Nkrumah's knowledge for purpose. Nkrumah's vision of Africa should be the future. The African Union's Africa should be the future. Now, as you walk the graduation stage, we've prepared this carpet for you. It's deep cleaned just for you this afternoon. And each one of you shall have his, her moment on the stage. Remember this, you get up here, you probably will have been told this already, but our graduates tend to be tense, anxious, and forget all of this. Even the red-gowned ones, despite having done this too many times. When you get here, give your paper to my colleague who will be on the podium. Once he has read your name, quickly walk down and enjoy the red carpet on your own. You'll have a moment of red carpet. Look at the cameras. We have cameras, more than 4. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've spent much more this year than ever before because of you. Don't spoil our archives, ensure that there's nothing that's sticking out of your nose or something along those lines, so that you are in order. You will be having a lot of competing responsibilities here. There will be family members screaming, multimedia recording you, staff members shouting your name, me expecting you. Where I was seated, there, in front there is a chair. It looks like a chair, but it's called a nila. You put one knee or both knees. Please put one of the two, not none. Some people just bow. And it's not, you know, these things have traditions. So when you're there, we've had some graduates sitting on that chair. I mean, YouTube has that record. You don't want to be one of those, eh? I pitched my first red gown doctor graduate here, because if you get it wrong, I don't know even want to say what will happen. So I hope you remember all of this. But whatever it is, because of your personal sacrifice, we've revamped our red carpet for you. So walk this stage, ensuring that your life is indeed transformed towards where I was standing to award you the degree. If you're not receiving a degree today, you will not be tapped on your meta board. Please remember that. Not that we think less of you, but because you've already been or you shall be tapped in the near future. So we're now getting into the second part of our session, which is the Chancellor's address. Dr. Mtsweni has been sent, as I said earlier, by the Chancellor, Thabo Mbeki, to deliver his speech. Dr. Mtsweni, please.
Madam Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Endeshaw Tashe Gerabiok for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I request his supervisor, Professor M. Leketo, to read the citation in support of the conferment of the degree.
In his thesis entitled Exploring the Effectiveness of Leadership in Implementing the Social Improvement Program in Addis Ababa Secondary Schools, he analyzed stakeholders' views about the implementation of the School Improvement Program, SIP. The findings revealed that most participants considered it the primary responsibility of principals to provide effective leadership in implementing the SIP. They identified budget constraints, inadequate facilities, poor planning, insufficient monitoring and evaluation, and uninformed decision-making as the major factors hindering SIP implementation. He recommends creating community awareness a positive learning environment and effective management training for principals as strategies for improving the SIP implementation in Ethiopian secondary schools.
Madam Acting Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request to you to confer on Endeshaw Teshu Geberix the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Endeshaw Taseu Gebrekiorgis. Congratulations, Dr. Gebrekiorgis. We wait for all our graduates to be seated before we proceed. That's how much we value. Thank you. Without our graduates and our students, UNISA wouldn't be without you. You make us a university. Otherwise, we would have been possibly an NGO, with due respect to NGOs or a bank or anything else, but not a university. Thank you for staying the course. It is now the last but one session of this session. Thank you, colleagues. We've been within the time. Thank you for efficiency. I promised you 2.5 hours, and I'm just doing that. It is a deep honor and privilege to extend heartfelt congratulations to our graduates, all of you. From the colleges, now we're going to be looking at the colors because our graduates' colors resemble our procession's colors, if you are alive to that. Graduates from the colleges of Education, College of Economic and Management Sciences, College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, College of Science, Engineering and Technology, College of Accounting Sciences, College of Human Sciences. Is there a college that I left out? College of Law. How could I have forgotten our lawyers, people who shall be dealing with all these criminals that are overpowering us? We look forward to you to give us wisdom around that. Today, you join a distinguished family of over 1 million UNISA alumni, a network that stretches across South Africa, on the African continent, and the world, across the globe. You are part of that remarkable cohort. Fly the UNISA flag high. You will have heard Dr. Msweni from the Chancellor, the message the Chancellor sent him, the importance of integrity. Today you earn a qualification through open distance and e-learning. This is no small feat. Getting a qualification within the confines of a university like UNISA calls for hard work, calls for discipline, calls for resilience, calls for sacrifice. We salute you for that. You are very fortunate to be joining the alumni of a number of people, some of whom were incarcerated in Robben Island. We were the only university that's afforded, from many years ago, former activists. And I'll just list a few of them. Our struggling heroes, like President Mandela, may his soul rest in peace, Archbishop Emeritus Tutu. We trained them. We also trained the current president. We're not responsible for what he actually said when he was last week before Trump, but we had trained him. We've also trained Robert Mugabe. How he ended up being like colleagues is not our fault, but we had trained very well. We've also trained our Chancellor himself, Mbeki, His Excellency. We've trained Anglican bishops. We've trained Ahmed Katratra. Some of you remember him, one of the politicians who stood up very strong against corruption. It's because we had trained him. We've also trained ministers, by the way. The current Minister of Finance, Enoch Godongwane, he is our product. But we didn't train him to do the budget. In any case, we gave all these people good training, but don't hold us responsible for how they turned out to be here. We've also trained Trevor Manuel. You recall Trevor Manuel. Some of you may be young to remember him. This is a finance minister during whose years, when he was finance minister, there was a boom in the country. It's because we had trained him. We've also trained Reserve Bank governors. The current one, whom we whispered to him to lower the interest rates yesterday, is because we trained him. We've trained the only women governor this country has ever seen. So this is the number of people that you're joining. Very eminent graduates. Hold the UNISA flag high. We've also trained politicians like Naledi Pandor, you know, her strides in the international relations space. We've trained Jeff Radebe, Energy and Justice, Energy Minister. We have trained also a lot of justices. One of the justices that we've trained, many of you should know him, Muhweng, who made a huge mark. We've also trained Justice Dikgang Moseneke. We've trained Justice Daya Pillay, the judge of the High Court, who's also had her stripes internationally. We've also trained politicians as well, some of whom we may not be celebrating much, but the fact that they're critical thinkers and they question things with vim is because we trained them. Julius Malema. Amongst others, the list is long. All I'm saying is that all these people that we've trained, just like we've trained you, follow on their footsteps, including Thuli Madonsela, Basisana Kumalo, Charlotte Maxeke, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, etc., etc. Hence, the university looks up to you. We invite you not just only to get your certificates as you've received them today, but make this great university pursue its greatness. We expect you to come back to do your honors, master's, doctoral degrees, and other degrees. We expect red degreed doctors. We're not done with you. We want you to produce books for those that have not had doctoral degrees to have references to draw from. So we're not done with you. We equally are very proud that across the continent we've also had trailblazers, amongst whom is our graduate, who is a minister, a president of Central Ethiopia, is actually the key president overseeing all the provinces of Ethiopia. So you can see if you actually don't do well, you'll be spoiling our name. We've trained a number of people. If anything, just a few years ago, not a few, just 2 years ago, Eritrea, a country that's close to Ethiopia, we gave them 33 judges that we trained, let alone the prosecutors. So we are all over the world. So, dear graduates, your journey has been long indeed, and today you're celebrating. It's your perseverance, it's your strength, it's your character. Your dreams have been fulfilled. You've survived. Some of your colleagues that have not survived, the proctoring tools, checking on you, because they thought that was a joke. We caught them out. They're not here today. We celebrate your families, graduates, not just only you, but the support systems that you've had, your parents, grandparents, siblings, spouses, friends, who've walked this journey with you. We say thank you to them. Just like Maya Angelou once said, surviving is important, but thriving is elegant. Yep. You've shown that elegance. I want to close before we thank everybody with a reminder from our Chancellor. I know some of you have had this, may possibly be thinking this woman is crazy, she repeats this way too many times, but it's very important, especially during these times. Our former president, Chancellor of this university, Thabo Mbeki, says to you, even if you've not succeeded in what you do, at least you've tried. You haven't stolen anything, and you haven't robbed the people. Close quote. Remember that. He says that's what he expects of you. May your success always be anchored in integrity. Now, in closing, I want you to be on your feet, all of you graduates, as we thank the people who've made you. If you could turn the entire body of yours this direction, these are the people who've made you to be. Show them your certificates. Thank you. Keep standing, I'm not done with you. These people have supported you in many ways. Than one, as you know, they've made you who you are. Please give back. You know what that means individually, in all your families. And amongst which we expect you to applaud them and give due, diligent respect towards them. Graduates, as you face the stage, I want you to thank my colleagues who are on the stage. These are a few colleagues that I could have brought this afternoon because the stage is too small, but they represent a huge number of UNISA staff that have supported you, that have believed in you, that have given you second, third chances, that have given you FI concessions. Those that got them, they know what that means. We've believed the fact that you needed to have a second chance on your assignments, on your chapters, despite you not doing good. All the time. But you're here, that's why we celebrate you. We're proud that you got to be here. We applaud you for that. And therefore, we say, well done, on behalf of colleagues who are not here. We've cajoled you, we've begged you to straighten up. I'm happy that you ended up straightening up to get those chapters in and those dissertations and theses in. Hence, you're here this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I present to you the class of 2025. Let's hear some noise. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. Without a number of colleagues who are not as privileged as us, who got to be on the podium, I want to relay a sense of gratitude and thanks for all the hard work that they've done behind the scenes. And I want to start with those that you'll never get to see who are here when you possibly haven't even opened your eyes at 5 a.m. to clean this hall, all of whom are black women. Shining as it is because of them. I want to thank the graduation division headed by the registrars here this afternoon. We thank his presence for having worked hard and the communication sent to you. Related to the communication, I want to thank the Department of Institutional Advancement for all the work that they've done behind the scenes to ensure that this ceremony and these graduations this season are successful. I want to thank the Department of Facility Management for ensuring that we got to have these buildings in this fashion and ensuring that we secure. You may not see them, but there's nothing that would have gone wrong because of them. Thank you, colleagues. I want to thank the Department of Human Resources, Emergency Rescue and Wellness. If anything happened to you in whatever fashion, thankfully nothing did. They were on standby to ensure that none of you were not attended to as per your needs health-wise. I want to thank the Multimedia Center. You're hearing me now. We've recorded you. You are on the World Wide Web right now on YouTube. Immediately after, as we end this session, go on YouTube. You'll see yourself there. Whatever you did that was otherwise, we've recorded it. And I want to thank our organist. It's Dr. Isabella van Rensbeck, who's here this afternoon. Thank you, Madam. Some of you may have thought there was a recording. It was an organ by an organist. And I also want to thank the university's friends who stayed this long haul. The President and Prime Minister, I want to call you President, and Prime Minister of the Khoisan, he had said to me, he's just here to greet and leave, but he stayed the entire course. Thank you, sir, with your lovely wife. And I also want to thank Mrs. Cindy Zilwa, who's a chartered accountant who has graduated from UNISA. We trained her. She's a CEO right now, a chartered director. Thank you, Madam. Limping as she did, she came. I cannot tell. Oh, I'm actually seeing that we also have Dr. Billy Mnisi, who actually was reported wasn't coming because he landed quite late. He's CEO of Lirisana Investment and Tekisani Pty Ltd. These are all the friends of the university. Thank you. I hope I haven't left any people, but please do apologize for me, on my behalf, with me, but you do that on my behalf for having left you out. What we're now going to do, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is we're going to go on to page 25 of your programs. That is where the national anthem is. For those that are not proper South Africans, will probably be reading it like the Bible or Quran. We will sing the national anthem when you are on your feet, when I dissolve the congregation. Thank you so much for staying the course. And at the end of the procession, we'd like our red-gowned doctors to join the procession as we join the club.
And stay behind because we want, could we please have the supervisors to also stay behind because we want to take more memories with the doctoral students. Graduates now. This is a way of ensuring that you also admire and aspire to be at this level. Thank you. Siyabonga. Asante sana.
Great. By the virtue of the powers vested upon me this afternoon as the acting Vice-Chancellor, I dissolve this congregation of the University of South Africa.